My name is Marco Hanna from PhoneDog.com, and this is the Weekly Bone. So after that iPhone-filled Weekly Bone last week, this is the only iPhone news for this episode. Basically, Apple has sold 9 million iPhones on launch weekend, almost doubling the iPhone 5s they sold last year. That's totaling iPhone 5S and the 5C. That's it. We have some more Nokia Lumia rumor news with the 929. We really have to figure out something, Nokia. Get a name. All these numbers are just darn confusing, but the 929 is a device expected to launch on Verizon's network. It's supposed to be a very high-end device. It's going to have a 20 megapixel pure view camera. No real specs have been detailed or really leaked, but we are expecting to see some dual-core processors and maybe 1 to 2 gigabytes of RAM, especially a 1080p display and a 4.5-inch display size on the Lumia 929. It's really nice to see Windows Phone 8 rolling out on Verizon Wireless. We really have been only seeing Windows Phone 8 devices on AT&T's network, so it's nice to see the adoption of Windows Phone 8. BlackBerry has had a rough past year or so. After all those layoffs, all those product launches, and all those quarters that they missed their financial goals, BlackBerry is now looking in towards of making more devices to suit more people instead of just enterprise friendly. After the BlackBerry Z30 that was launched a couple weeks ago, new rumors of a BlackBerry device rumored to be called the C device of BlackBerry are starting to roll out. The C device that is closely resembling the Z30 is supposed to be a 4.2-inch device. It has a 720p display. The processor and the specs have not really been detailed, but we can expect them to be sort of mid-range, so maybe a dual-core processor and 1 gigabyte of RAM. That's kind of my range of where the phone will be, but it is expected to be a low-cost solution for BlackBerry 10 users, and it does look to be like a very cool device. There's actually a photo up right now of the BlackBerry C device, whatever it's going to be, I guess the C30, or whatever they decide to call it, next to an iPhone 4 device, and we can see the size comparison there. Last week we talked about the Surface event in New York City that happened on Monday, and now we have 2 new Surface devices called the Surface 2 and the Surface Pro 2. Microsoft has a team working really hard on the names, so they worked a lot on these 2 names, but these 2 devices actually have come a long way from their predecessors. Let's start with the Surface 2. It has the same screen size as the Surface RT, a 10.6-inch display, but now it is 1080p. Also underneath, a 1.6 gigahertz Core i5 Haswell chip is running under there. 4 or 8 gigabytes of RAM is available on those devices, and also 16, 32, or 64 gigabyte of storage. Now the Surface Pro 2 comes with the same display, same processor, and same RAM numbers, but what it is different is the storage capacity. You start off with a 64 gigabyte model. It can go all the way up to 256 gigabytes. Both Surface tablets will be available October 22nd. The Surface 2 available for $499 and up, and the Surface Pro 2 will be available from $849 and up. The Surface Pro is $100 more expensive than last year's model, but you are getting more storage for your buck. Well, that's all the time I have for this week's episode of The Weekly Bone. You can follow me on Twitter, PhoneDog_Marco. Keep it locked here at PhoneDog.com and YouTube.com/PhoneDog, and I'll see you guys in the next video.